What's up? What's going on, you guys? Hope everybody is great. Approaching the full moon in a couple of days, very excited. And tonight we are going to be talking about feeding your ancestors and deities. This is a question that's come up kind of a couple times actually in the past couple of days, and I was getting ready to head out to go pick up some things for Saint Expedite. Thank you, Saint Expedite, for a request that he granted, and I figured this would be a fantastic time to do a video for you guys. Hi everybody, thanks for joining. What's going on, you guys? Please share this video, invite a friend if you know anybody that could benefit from this. So working with your altar and feeding your ancestors, and I think sometimes, especially for those practitioners that are still new and kind of learning how to work with their altars, is a little unclear the difference in an offering and feeding them. And hi guys, thanks for joining. So an offering can be almost anything, meaning a candle can be an offering, your incense can be an offering. For example, on my Oshun altar, I bought her a peacock hair comb. That was an offering. You see what I'm saying? But feeding them is where you're giving them actual food offerings, okay? So why do we feed our ancestors? Why do we offer food to deities? Well, with ancestors, both ancestors and deities, we feed them so that they don't feed off of us. They don't feed off of our energy, okay? With your ancestor altar, anyone who, did they feed you, you know? And not necessarily in the way of food, but you know, do you have someone on your altar? Did they love you? Did they give you advice? Did they take care of you in any way? Did they feed the person that you are today? So this is a symbolic way of offering our gratitude. Same thing with deities. We're feeding them as a symbol of gratitude and giving them some energy. Because if they don't have any energy, how are they going to be able to work for us? Okay? Have you ever worked an 8 or 12-hour shift and not ate the whole day, like without your morning coffee or your breakfast, or took a lunch break? Could you go a whole day without eating unless you're fasting? You probably couldn't. You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't be able to get through your day without being grumpy and grouchy and tired, and you wouldn't want to work. Same thing. So this is, in a nutshell, why we feed our ancestors. Hey Kristen, hi Tanya, hey Valerie. So first and foremost, when you are setting up your ancestor altar or your deity altar, I think it's important to find out and know ahead of time, what do they like? With deities, is there something specific that they like as an offering? Because you wouldn't want to put something up there that could potentially offend them. Same thing with your ancestors. So for example, my father, he was a meat eater and he liked brandy. So what do? I give him brandy. And I will give him chicken, or, you know, I've actually gone like purchased. I'll cook him a steak or something to that effect. So try to find out what they like. Now, you may not know, you know, for some people, maybe you weren't close to whoever's on your altar. Maybe you were adopted. Maybe there's just no way of you finding out. That's totally fine. In that case, I always say you can never go wrong with water. Sweetbreads, so you know, some type of little pound cake or something, some cookies. Fresh fruit is a great offering. Even, it doesn't even have to be cut up. You can put some apples and oranges, some beautiful fruit up there. That's a way of somewhat playing it safe and still giving something of quality. You know, we're not just throwing some chips or popcorn up there. Now, not knocking chips or popcorn, but you know what I'm saying. Daily offerings or daily feedings versus special. So my kind of rule for this is I like to keep things that are non-perishable on the altar as the daily feeding. And what I mean by that is squashes, oranges, things that really don't perish. But if I'm doing a particular ritual, so let's say I know I'm doing a full moon ritual, I know I'm doing a new moon ritual, I know I'm getting ready to petition for something that I need, not just like my maintenance magic. Remember guys, you have maintenance magic, which are your money candles, and then you have spells that you're performing. Whenever I do candle work for clients, I always give a fresh set of special offerings, and that's depending on who I'm working with, it's something that they like, and it's usually, you know, I'll opt for some wine, you know, I may forego the water and offer some wine or a very nice liqueur, something of that nature. When you're working, oh, hold on, let me go back. So Also, give the best that you can afford. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. You don't have to go out and like buy all this different or extra additional stuff for your altar, but give the best that you can afford. So if you know you're cooking Sunday dinner and you're going to have baked chicken and rice and beans and cornbread and all this good food, and then you're going to throw some cheese and crackers up on the altar, well, they're probably going to feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Not knocking cheese and crackers. If that's all you have, that's fine. But you want to be mindful of that, because your spirit guides, your deities, your ancestors are in your life to help you, to guide you, to help provide for you. So, if you over here eating lavishly and they're not getting anything, but you're steadily asking them for the money to buy this good food, yeah, that's probably not going to last very long. So you want to kind of keep that in mind. Another thing is, if you're working with a spirit that for example, Elegua, Mondays is his day. He gets an offering once a week. If a deity requires an offering once a week, give it to them. You have to give it to them, okay? And once a week really isn't a lot. I mean, you eat every day. You feed your kids every day. You feed the pets every day. You can feed them once a week. And if once a week is too much of a requirement, then you may want to reevaluate if that is the right deity that you should be working with. There is also a very big difference as petitioning a deity for something and getting it and saying thank you and moving on, versus you've set up an altar for them, you've created a space for them, you've invited them into your life, but then you fall off on the offerings. You don't fall off on asking them for stuff, but you fall off on paying them for it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you went to work every day and didn't get your weekly, bi-weekly paycheck, what would you do? You'd probably stop working. You'd quit, wouldn't you? It's the same thing. Some of you might quit and steal the money that you're owed. And I say that jokingly, but not jokingly, because that's what happened to me with the Legua. When I petitioned him for a specific amount of money and I got it the next day, and I forewent on his offering because I forgot, and then the following week came and I just didn't feel like getting up at 5 a.m. Yeah, half of that money he granted me, I ended up having to put into car repairs. He was like, oh, no, you didn't give me my offerings. So you really want to make sure that if you're going to commit to something, you're able to keep up with it, because, what's given can very well be taken back. So keep that in mind. Don't give leftovers. Like, when I say don't give leftovers, don't give the leftovers that you're not going to eat. If you know you're going to throw it out today or tomorrow, don't put it on the altar. Just don't do that, okay? Leaving food on the altar. So cooked food, I leave it for 1 day, 24 hours. I don't leave it past that. So if you wouldn't eat it, it needs to come off the altar, which is why I suggest putting things that are non-perishable that may last a couple of days, so that you're not having to give daily offerings. Now, if you want to, you most certainly can put an offering on your altar every day. But for some people with busy lives, it's just not really convenient. So try to find things that last. But if you look at it and you wouldn't eat it, they don't want it. It's got to go. Change the water daily. You should have water at the very minimum. Put some water on the altar and change it every day. Every day. You hear me? Not every other day. Every day. You take a shower every day. You wash the dishes every day. Change it. Change the water. Keep it fresh. They will thank you. Offer what they like. And this kind of goes back to figuring out what it is they like. I did a consultation a couple weeks ago with a very sweet client, and I get where she was coming from, but she was a vegan and she doesn't drink alcohol. And the energy she chose to work with liked meat, and they liked alcohol. And she was telling me how she didn't feel comfortable buying alcohol. She didn't want to spend the money on it because she wasn't going to drink it. And she doesn't like the smell of meat. She doesn't cook it. That's just not what she was going to put on her altar. Okay, that's fine. But remember, you're doing this for them, not for you. So, if you have an issue with what the spirit is that they require, then maybe that's not the spirit to work for you, okay? Because You know, if someone invited you over for dinner knowing you were vegan and put a steak in front of you, you'd be offended. Same thing. So be mindful of that. Let's see. I always, when you're giving offerings of gratitude, feedings of gratitude, try to do it within 72 hours. And I do think that's kind of pushing it. Especially, I know a lot of people go to St. Expedite for money work. If you ask for money and you get money, you best take some of that money and go buy a thank you, something, and put it on the altar. Sooner rather than later. But, you know, again, same thing. If you got hired to do a job and that you weren't paid for a week, how would that make you feel? You would not want to work for them again. Same thing. So no more than 72 hours for giving your gratitude offerings. Okay, I think my signal was a little funky for a second, but please make sure you're sharing this video. When you're feeding your ancestors, give them a dedicated plate or bowl or glass or whatever it is for them. So this isn't something that you eat off of or feed anybody. The dog doesn't eat out of it. Something for them. Go to Dollar Tree, get a cup, get a little bowl, something small. It doesn't have to be big. And let that be special for them. When you're portioning out your offerings, you know, it doesn't have to be a whole pile of food. It's all symbolic. It's all energetic. But put, you know, a little couple spoonfuls of this, spoonfuls of that, symbolically, but enough at the same time, okay? Hey, Patricia. Greetings from Philly. Yay, yay. Sorry, I have notes. You guys know I have to have notes or I'll be like way over there with it. Okay, and then last but not least, when you're giving your offerings, do it out of gratitude. Like, don't do it because it's required. Don't do it because, oh, it's Monday and I have to do it again. Don't do it because, oh, they granted this and I have to do it. It needs to really be sincere. It needs to be from a place of gratitude. Don't give offerings with the, I'll give you this if you give me that. Or I'm going to give you this so you can give me that. That's not coming from a sincere heart. That's kind of begrudgingly, in my opinion. Some people may disagree. But, you know, it should be, you're petitioning this energy and you're on your spiritual path and you're asking for help. You wouldn't be asking for help if you didn't believe it. So you know that it's going to work. And 9 times out of 10, you're asking for stuff that is going to improve the quality of your life, whatever that is. You should want to sincerely offer a thank you. You know what I mean? And maybe you're having an off day. If that's the case, don't do your offerings that day. But if you can't honestly give it with a wholeheartedness of appreciation, then quite frankly, you shouldn't be practicing ancestral magic or working with deities. It's just not for you. And that's just the bottom line, okay? A couple questions here. Let's see. Siobhan says, what if you have pets and set out food or money on the altar? Well, I will tell you, I had bought some dried fish from a Botanica when I was down in Florida. And I put the fish on the altar. And I stepped out the room for all of a minute or two. And you can imagine what happened, right? I come back and I'm like, wait a second. Did I put that piece of fish there? Missy, y'all know who Missy is. Missy had stole the fish off the altar and was eating it. So, if you have pets, you know, depending on where your altar is set up, it should be set up in a place where your pets can't get to the offerings. Maybe consider putting things up there that they don't like. Or you're just going to have to kind of be mindful and watch them. Let's see, you said money out on the altar. Well, this is my thing. I leave money on my altar. There's a $100 bill over there. I had someone that came by today and he was looking at my altar and it was interesting. He says to me, you know, I would never steal from you. And I thought, like, of course I know that you're my friend. But anybody who comes in your house and sees money on your altar, if they take it, they take it. But I feel very sorry for the person that steals off of your altar. So that really shouldn't be a problem. Maybe don't put a denomination you wouldn't want to lose, but if someone would steal from your altar, then they don't need to come in the house anyway. You should be able to put money on there freely, and it should not ever be a problem. I've had, you know, a couple $100s on my altar. I'd feel sorry for someone that would do that. So Let's see. And you're also saying you have a cat and you're afraid of setting up, afraid to set candles up. Well, you're gonna have to either set them up where the cat can't get to them, or see how your cat does with them. You know, when I first got Luna, I was a little leery about, you know, how she was gonna do with them. She's never knocked a candle over. I did have a freestanding candle one time, and I will tell you, she was feeling kind of ballsy, and she took her paw and flicked that flame, and when she singed her paw, she ain't never touched them candles again. I was like, okay, you done learned a lesson. So you're gonna have to kind of use your discretion on that one. Can you use money on the altar all the time? Absolutely. If you need money every day, there should be some sort of denomination on your altar every day. Antoinette's asking, how long do you keep the food on the altar? I actually went over that, so you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the video. It's one of the first things I covered. This video will be uploaded on YouTube later on this evening. If you missed this, you can definitely watch the replay. Let's see. Aren't you supposed to feed them first from what you're eating? I personally don't feel like there's a rule to that, because when I'm doing my altar work or when I'm cleaning my altar, usually isn't always at the time that I'm eating. So you can, again, if you're going to feed them first thing in the morning, by all means, absolutely. I don't make breakfast every day. Sometimes I'm running out the door and it's the afternoon when I finally sit down at my altar. So just kind of do what's convenient for you. I don't think that there's really a steadfast rule on that. I think that's all the questions. I don't know if there's, I'm going to take one or two more. I mean, can the money ever be spent at a later time? Absolutely. That's a great question. Money on the altar, this is how I feel. You can leave it up there for however long you want, but it should be circulated at some point. You want to send it out because now it has your money magic on it, has your energy on it. You're sending it out for it to circulate and for it to multiply. Unless, if it's something kind of dear and special, meaning my very, 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 very first workshop that I ever did on candle magic 3.5 years ago, a woman came and she gave me an envelope of $2 bills. And she was like, I just wanted to give you something, a gift. So I've never spent those $2 bills. They're still on the altar. But, you know, it was a gift. It was a gesture. So I chose not to spend them. But money that I put up there, best believe I spend it, honey. If I'm broke, oh, that 20 is going in my wallet and we getting spent. So don't worry about that. But yeah, you can totally spend it. All right, you guys. Was this video helpful? Let me know if it was. And I'm curious to see how many of you feed your ancestors. If you do, if you have some suggestions, if you have some things to add, please leave it down there in the comments below. Do you guys like these videos? I've been trying to cover things about how to work with your altars to really get the most out of them. So if you like them, let me know. I will continue to do them. I'm debating on maybe doing a love altar video. I haven't decided yet. I'm open for suggestions, so inbox me if you have a question or a topic you want me to talk about. And yeah, hey Candy, haven't seen you in a while, girl. Okay, I'm gonna take one last question. Where did I get the golden pig from? Okay, so I live in LA and we have Chinatown here. The stores in Chinatown, unfortunately, are small mom and pop kind of stores. They're not places with like these, they don't ship, there's no websites and all that stuff. So my suggestion to you is, if you don't live someplace where there's a Chinatown, Amazon has everything. Yeah, so that's where I got my golden pig from, and that was just convenient for me. But you guys can definitely find some. All right, loves, I gotta go because I need to give Saint Expedite his offerings so I can follow my own information that I'm sharing with y'all. Practice what you preach, right? All right, babes, love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.